Have you ever considered that Jesus Christ may have lived other lives before his famous incarnation in Palestine? Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, performed over 14,000 psychic readings during his lifetime and revealed surprising information about the Master's previous incarnations. According to Cayce, the soul we know as Jesus underwent an extraordinary evolutionary process, experiencing 5 major incarnations that paved the way for his final mission. Today we will delve into these forgotten teachings that can completely transform your understanding of the spiritual journey of the most influential being in human history, Amilius, the first divine thought. Our video begins at the beginning of time, when Earth was still only a possibility in the spiritual realm. Edgar Cayce revealed that the first manifestation of Jesus' soul was as Amilius, described as the first thought or expression of God in creation. Amilius was not exactly a physical being as we know it, but rather a divine consciousness that aided in the very formation of humanity. Imagine the magnitude of this revelation. The same essence that would later become Jesus was present from the beginning, actively participating in the divine design for human evolution. Amilius was the spiritual leader of the souls beginning their journey on Earth, the celestial architect who guided the spirits in their first material experience. Cayce described that at this time, there was a battle between the forces that wanted to keep souls purely spiritual and those that desired a material experience. Amilius defended free will and the right of souls to experience physical creation. This first incarnation established the pattern of unconditional love and spiritual leadership that would be repeated in all subsequent lives. Amilius's mission was clear: to ensure that no soul was completely lost in matter, while always maintaining a connection with the divine. Adam, the first earthly man. Can you imagine that Adam, the first man in the scriptures, could have been a previous incarnation of Jesus? According to Edgar Cayce, after the experience as Amilius, the Master's soul took on Adam's physical form to demonstrate the correct path for humanity. This was not simply a symbolic story, but a profound spiritual reality. Adam represented the prototype of the perfect human being, created in the image and likeness of God, living in complete harmony with creation. Cayce explained that Adam's fall was not an irreparable sin, but part of the learning process necessary for the evolution of souls. Through this experience, the Christ consciousness experienced for the first time the temptations, challenges, and consequences of human choices. The Garden of Eden was not just a physical place, but a heightened state of consciousness where the human and the divine coexisted perfectly. When Adam chose to experience the knowledge of good and evil, he was beginning the journey of self-discovery that every human soul must traverse. This incarnation laid the karmic foundations that would need to be worked through and resolved in future lives. Adam was the beginning of the understanding that divinity needed to fully experience the human condition in order to redeem it. And before we continue revealing the other fascinating incarnations, please like this video if you're amazed by these revelations. Share it with friends who need to know these life-changing teachings. Enoch, the one who walked with God. The third major incarnation Edgar Cayce identified was Enoch, the mysterious patriarch who, according to Scripture, walked with God and was seen no more, for God took him. Enoch lived 365 years on earth before his ascension, a number that corresponds to the days of the solar year, symbolizing a complete cycle of earthly experience. Cayce revealed that Enoch reached such a high level of consciousness that he transcended physical death, becoming a living example of the possibility of ascension. During his lifetime, Enoch was a great spiritual teacher who taught people about the heavens, angels, and divine mysteries. He established schools of knowledge where initiates learned astronomy, sacred mathematics, healing, and prophecy. The incarnation as Enoch was crucial because it demonstrated that a human being could maintain his divine connection while living fully in the material world. Enoch did not shy away from earthly responsibilities. He had a family, worked, and lived in community, but he never lost his connection to the sacred. His visions of the heavenly realms and humanity's future were recorded in apocryphal texts that still fascinate esoteric scholars today. This life prepared the Christ consciousness to deeply understand the spiritual planes and their interaction with the physical world. Enoch proved that enlightenment does not require isolation, but rather the harmonious integration of heaven and earth. Before we continue, if you're enjoying our content and can support our work and be part of our exclusive community, become a channel member. Besides helping us continue bringing you incredible content, you'll have access to special benefits. Click the button, become a member, and join us. Melchizedek, the King of Justice. Melchizedek appears in the scriptures as an enigmatic and powerful figure, described as King of Salem and Priest of the Most High God. Edgar Cayce identified this as the fourth major incarnation of Jesus' soul, a life dedicated to establishing the principles of true spirituality and righteous leadership. The name Melchizedek means King of Righteousness, and this incarnation was marked by the perfect combination of temporal power and spiritual authority. Unlike the Levitical priests who would come later, Melchizedek did not depend on lineage or external ritual. His authority emanated directly from his connection with the divine. Cayce revealed that during this life, the Christ consciousness worked to purify and elevate humanity's religious concepts, removing superstitions and establishing universal principles of faith. Melchizedek blessed Abraham and received tithes from him, establishing a standard of recognition of spiritual hierarchy based on merit rather than social position. This incarnation was fundamental in paving the way for true monotheistic religion, removing the pagan practices that led humanity astray. During this period, teachings about the unity of God, the immortality of the soul, and the law of karma were transmitted to the initiates. Melchizedek established a spiritual priestly order that transcended all organized religions, focused on the direct experience of the divine. This life demonstrated that true spiritual leadership serves humanity without expecting recognition or material reward. Are you enjoying these extraordinary revelations? Then don't forget to like and share this knowledge that can open new spiritual perspectives. Joseph, the son of Jacob. The fifth major incarnation identified by Edgar Cayce was Joseph, Jacob's beloved son who was sold into slavery by his brothers and became governor of Egypt. This life was crucial for the development of the qualities of forgiveness, administrative wisdom, and prophetic vision. Joseph experienced the deepest betrayal when his own brothers sold him, casting him into slavery and subsequently unjustly imprisoned. However, even under the most adverse circumstances, he maintained his integrity and faith in divine purpose. Cayce explained that this incarnation was especially important for working the karma of forgiveness and demonstrating that no human injustice can destroy a soul connected to God. Joseph's ability to interpret dreams represented his deep connection with the spiritual planes and his ability to perceive divine patterns operating through earthly events. When he finally achieved a position of power in Egypt, Joseph had the opportunity to take revenge on those who wronged him, but he chose the path of forgiveness and reconciliation. This choice was fundamental in the development of Christ consciousness, demonstrating that love must transcend even the deepest wounds. During his time in Egypt, Joseph not only saved nations from famine through his administrative wisdom, but also preserved the lineage through which Jesus would be born centuries later. He established principles of social justice, strategic planning, and care for the vulnerable that would echo in later teachings. Joseph's life demonstrated that divine purposes often manifest themselves through unexpected and seemingly painful paths. Every betrayal, every injustice faced was an opportunity to choose love over resentment, preparing the soul for its ultimate mission of universal redemption. Spiritual progression through incarnations. When we analyze these 5 incarnations together, we perceive an extraordinary pattern of spiritual development. Amilius represented pure divine consciousness, participating in creation. Adam experienced the first complete descent into matter and the consequences of human choices. Enoch demonstrated that ascension was possible even while living fully in the world. Melchizedek established the principles of true spirituality and righteous leadership. Joseph deeply explored the lessons of forgiveness, redemptive suffering, and trust in the divine plan. Each life built upon the previous ones, developing different aspects of consciousness necessary for the final mission as Jesus of Nazareth. If this message touches your heart and inspires new insights into your life, know that every video we create here is made with great care and dedication. Our purpose is to spread spiritual knowledge, help more people awaken to their true essence, and strengthen this community of truth seekers. If this content made a difference to you, imagine how many souls can be enlightened with this same message. Here on YouTube, there is a simple and special way to support us. Through the button. Thanks a lot. This is a way to show that this content has had a real impact on your life and to help us continue producing quality materials, bringing knowledge and inspiration to those who need it most. Every contribution, no matter how small, is a gesture of gratitude and love, and makes all the difference so we can move forward with this mission. But, regardless of anything, the most important thing is your presence here. Your engagement, comments, and support are the energy that keeps this community alive and growing. If you can contribute, we'll receive it with open hearts and immense gratitude. If you can't, your positive vibes and participation are already a great gift. Together, we are spreading more light, more love, and more knowledge to the world. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. May your journey be filled with evolution, learning, and connection with the divine. Edgar Cayce explained that these incarnations were not random, but carefully planned to prepare a soul capable of perfectly demonstrating the path back to God. The progression shows a soul gradually taking on more humanity while maintaining its divinity, learning through direct experience all the struggles, temptations, and challenges humanity would face. This explains why Jesus could genuinely empathize with all forms of human suffering. He had already experienced betrayal, injustice, temptation, and loss in his previous lives. The process was not one of a God temporarily descending to visit humanity, but of a divine soul progressively incarnating more deeply into the human experience. This understanding completely transforms our view of Jesus' nature and our own spiritual potential. If Jesus underwent this evolutionary process, achieving mastery through multiple lifetimes of learning, it suggests that we are all on similar journeys of spiritual growth. The 5 incarnations demonstrate that spiritual perfection is not achieved instantly, but through accumulated experience, conscious choices, and persistent dedication to love and truth. Lessons for our spiritual journey. Edgar Cayce's teachings on Jesus' previous incarnations offer profound lessons for our own spiritual path. First, they reveal that soul evolution is a gradual process requiring multiple experiences and learnings. We should not be discouraged by our current imperfections, as even the most elevated soul has undergone a long process of refinement. Second, each challenge and difficulty we face can be an opportunity for spiritual development, just as Joseph transformed his slavery into wisdom and his suffering into the capacity for forgiveness. Third, it is possible to maintain our divine connection while living fully in the material world, as Enoch demonstrated through his balanced life. Fourth, true spiritual leadership serves others without seeking personal power, as Melchizedek exemplified through his authority based purely on spiritual merit. Fifth, our choices in each moment are shaping our future consciousness. Each act of love or forgiveness brings us closer to spiritual mastery. Jesus' incarnations show that there is no shortcut to enlightenment, only the path through experience, learning, and the consistent choice of love. Cayce emphasized that we all have the potential to develop Christ consciousness, not as an outward imitation of Jesus, but as an awakening of our own divine nature. Jesus' previous lives teach us that each soul has a unique purpose in the divine plan, and that through dedication and persistence, we can fulfill our individual mission. These revelations invite us to see our own lives as part of a much larger journey, where each experience contributes to our eternal evolution. Finally, understanding that even Jesus needed multiple lives to prepare for his final mission frees us from the pressure of instant perfection and inspires us to continue growing step by step. Edgar Cayce's revelations about the 5 major incarnations of Jesus offer us a revolutionary perspective on the nature of spiritual evolution and the purpose of multiple lives. Understanding that the Master's soul passed through Amilius Adam, Enoch, Melchizedek, and Joseph before his final mission as Jesus of Nazareth shows us that spiritual mastery is built through accumulated experiences and conscious choices. Each incarnation developed specific qualities necessary to perfectly demonstrate the path back to God, from participation in creation to radical forgiveness of the greatest betrayals. These forgotten teachings invite us to reflect on our own spiritual journey and recognize that we too are on unique and sacred evolutionary paths. If you were touched by these extraordinary revelations, please share this content with those seeking deeper understanding, and subscribe to the channel to continue exploring the life-changing spiritual mysteries. In the next chapter, we will reveal what Edgar Cayce said about humanity's future incarnations and how we can accelerate our own spiritual evolution through conscious practices.